Hey everyone, Chase and Joel from Williams ELLEBY, and we are here today with week 39. And last week I was on the hot seat where Joel asked me what he said were going to be 5 questions. Turned out to be a few more than that. But this week Joel is in the hot seat, and I'm actually going to ask him 5 questions because I like to stick to my word. So, Joel, I've got my list in front of me, so I'm going to start with question number 1, and I think this is the only one that I have that actually deals with a phone call. No, wait, never mind. I think I have maybe 2 that deal with phone calls. So let's go ahead and get started. You get a phone call from a client who the phone call is from a potential client whose husband was killed in a tractor trailer wreck. Once you get off the phone with that person, what is your next call?
That's it?
That's it.
Come at me, bro.
That's it.
Hard.
I mean, don't worry, that's 1A. There's going to be 1A through W, so.
Okay. All right. So, client calls. Her husband was killed in a tractor trailer wreck.
Correct.
Recently, you said?
Yeah, recently. That morning.
Okay. What is my next call?
Yeah, what's your next call?
I am calling my paralegal, Karen, to order open records and things of that nature.
What's your call after that?
I'm just kidding. That's fun. I'm just kidding. So probably the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out like who that trucking company is, right? In Georgia, the spouse of the person who passed away is going to be the person who's making the decisions to hire lawyers, to fire lawyers, to settle cases and all that kind of stuff. So ideally, when I talk to her on the phone, we're going to set up a time that we can actually sit down and meet face to face. Because if it's early after she lost her husband, then things are still kind of raw, right? So I want to meet with her, but I also want to know exactly who the trucking company was so that I can get them on the horn and tell them to not do anything to the vehicle that might destroy evidence, right? That there's certain things that they could do to it that might erase electronic data. I want that stuff to be preserved. I'm also going to call probably an accident reconstruction expert to get right out to the scene to take measurements of roadway evidence after I've made sure that the truck and the vehicles involved have been secured. Basically all the evidence is secured. I'm going to get that expert involved to go out, gather the data they need, make the calculations they need to make so that I have that preserved later on if the trucking company decides to deny liability for the case.
Right, and I won't go into all the details if they don't preserve and all that stuff because I think you asked me that question last week about spoliation.
See week 38 if evidence is destroyed.
That's exactly right. Good, I don't have any follow-up questions, so I'm going to go to question number 2. Client calls, they don't have health insurance, they've been in a bad wreck, shoulders all torn up, they need to have surgery. How do you help that person?
I'm going to give them their options, right? They have multiple options. They can either find a provider. I'm assuming they've already seen a provider if they know that they need surgery. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to reach out to that provider and ask them if they would treat this person on a lien. If they will not treat them on a lien, I'm probably going to reach out to a medical funding company who might be willing to pay for that surgery and then just hold that bill on a lien so the client gets the health care and the medical treatment that they need while we're working to resolve the case.
And what if there's not enough insurance?
Let's say there's a minimum limits policy of 25 and they need a surgery that's going to cost $100,000. That's what you're looking at?
Right.
Okay. So in that situation, it's a little different. The first thing I'm going to do is make sure the client doesn't have coverage that would add on to.
Well, don't go there yet because that's a question that's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Don't go there.
So assuming.
Did you peek at my list?
No.
All right.
So I'm assuming there's only 25.
Correct.
Sure.
Yeah. Say it's a minimum limits policy. They need to have surgery. I know you said earlier you're going to explain all the options. In that situation, what's their option?
So in that situation, probably number 1, they're SOL.
Right.
Number 2, I'm probably going to try to get that $25,000. Probably cut the crap out of my fee so they get as much of the recovery as possible. And I'm going to encourage them to use the money that they get from that recovery to purchase health insurance that will then pay for the surgery.
All right. Now you kind of almost started talking about it. My third question is, let's assume that there's only 25 in liability coverage. Once you get the deck page from the outfall, what are you going to do next to find out if there's any other coverage?
I'm going to find out from my client, from their own automobile policy or any policies that relatives that live with them may have, whether there's additional coverage that might be available under what we call underinsured motorist coverage. And hopefully there is. We see that situation a lot. And a lot of times we see that situation where there is no underinsured motorist coverage. So if somebody's watching this video and you've made it this far, check your own automobile insurance policy and make sure that you have, if you're in Georgia, make sure you have what we call added on coverage, preferably of at least $100,000.
Right. It's one of those things, and I was going to bring that up as well. Most people don't even know what uninsured motorist coverage is until they need it. And then by that time, it's usually they either don't have it or it's a very small amount.
Yep. So you want to call your insurance agent and remember, if you don't remember anything else, remember three things. Coverage, add on, $100,000 minimum.
Yeah. All right. That's another call question.
Okay.
Let's say you get a call and the client needs a will, or they need an LLC formed with an operating agreement, or they even got a DUI. What do you do?
I go to my Excel spreadsheet with my attorney referrals on it. I give them 2 or 3 names for whatever practice area it is, and I say, call, call whoever that handles that particular area of work. And then I'm going to call that lawyer and I'm going to say, hey, heads up, Chase got drunk as a skunk, got a DUI this weekend. He's going to be calling you. Please talk to him.
Right. And the purpose of that question is because we only do one thing, and we try to do that one thing well, which is just personal injury. Anyone who's been injured by someone else's negligence. But that's exactly right. But I always encourage clients too that, all we do is personal injury, but if they need, a lawyer for anything, give us a call, because we know a bunch of lawyers and can certainly refer them out.
Yep.
All right. Last question. Let's say you file the lawsuit and you're trying to serve a defendant, and you have sent the complaint and the summons and the discovery to the sheriff, and the sheriff just can't find the guy. What do you do next?
It depends on what county I'm in. Am I in a particular county? Or
let's just say, we're in Cobb County, Georgia. Let's say you're in Cobb County and the sheriff just can't find the person, get them served. What do you do next?
If I'm in Cobb County, I have contacts with people who have already been specially appointed as process servers in Cobb County, basically PIs that can serve lawsuits. And I'm going to get, if I think the person is intentionally evading service, I'm going to get that person involved and get them to basically do what they have to do to get the person served within reason, right?
Right.
That usually works. If that doesn't work, there are other options such as service by publication and things of that nature, but you really want to try and make sure that that lawsuit gets placed in the hands of the person you're suing, or at least someone that's an adult that lives at their residence, to make sure that you have properly served it. Because if you don't properly serve someone, then you're done before you get started.
Yeah.
So,
see, that was it. Easy softball. No 5A, B, C, D questions. Just 5 questions. I think you nailed it. I mean, if you think you nailed it, please put in the comments, Joel, you nailed it. You did a great job. I'd love to see that.
These comments are going to be bad.
I can't wait to see it. Please do it. But in all seriousness, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's always fun to kind of do these impromptu ones where we pepper each other with questions. So hit the like button, subscribe, make fun of Joel in the comments, and we will see you next week for week 40.